Despite an all-out campaign against voter integrity laws from the far left, a majority of Democrats support voter ID laws, a Rasmussen poll released on Friday found. According to the poll, 63% of Democrats believe that requiring photo ID to vote is a reasonable measure to protect the integrity of elections. Most Republicans, 88%, and unaffiliated voters, 74%, are also supportive of voter ID laws, and 75% of voters overall back the measure. 19% of voters disagree. Those findings are virtually unchanged since June, according to the poll, in which 1,000 likely U.S. voters were surveyed between December 7 to 8, 2021. The margin of sampling error is plus or minus 3 percentage points with a 95% level of confidence. Voters' concern about election integrity has risen from 79% in June to 83% who say it is very important to prevent cheating in elections. More than a third, 34%, of voters still do not believe President Joe Biden won the presidential election fairly. Unsurprisingly, Biden's strongest supporters are less likely to support voter ID laws, though nearly half, 49%, are still in favor of them. In contrast, 94% of voters who strongly disapprove of Biden's job performance think voter ID requirements are reasonable. Another recent survey found that 77% of voters across the board explicitly reject racism as a reason for voter integrity laws, and believe one party uses it for political purposes, not for electoral progress. The same report found that 80% of voters believe voter ID is a significant security measure. A June poll from Monmouth University went a step further, finding that 77% of white voters and 84% of non-white voters think people should have to prove their identity to vote. Along party lines, 91% of Republicans, 87% of Independents, and 62% of Democrats support photo ID laws, according to the poll. Consistent Democrat support for voter ID laws comes in spite of statements from Democrat leaders railing against supposedly racist, voter integrity legislation pushed by Republicans in the wake of the 2020 presidential election. President Joe Biden, Vice President Kamala Harris, and Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer (DNY) are among the party's most prominent leaders to frame the GOP's push for more secure elections as nefarious. Media figures like CNN's Don Lemon have also made the claim, Lemon saying, "They know exactly what they're doing." Yes, is it racist? It is racist. When put into practice, however, the opposite has been found to be true. In 2018, Alabama's voter ID laws had no suppression impact on Black American turnout in the state's Senate election. The New York Times admitted in a report that the high Black American voter turnout in Alabama complicates the claim by leftist advocacy groups and Democrats that voter ID laws keep Black Americans from getting out to vote.